Hello everyone, Grand Rising. Welcome to the People's Congregation of Shakers and Movers. I am Sandy and I am here today with Matt Thompson and his beautiful array of singing bowls, gongs, tools, instruments, frequencies, beats, all the things to sound, heal, and breathe on this beautiful Tuesday. I have to say, Matt, the birds were singing extra loud this morning and I was like, oh my gosh, is this possible? Could it be spring? It's coming. Oh my God, the frozen tundra that is Massachusetts has not been my favorite place to be the last few weeks. I have to say, I've been kind of going through it. I definitely got hit with this, sickness that's been going around. And as you can hear in my voice, I'm still recovering from that. So it feels really good to be back. I was quarantined all week and definitely spent more time in my house this week than I have since I bought it 6 years ago. So I actually did enjoy, I have to say, though, slowing down a little bit. I watched more films in the last 7 days than I have in 7 years, literally. So it's been kind of cool. I've also been consuming some really interesting media. I've been listening a lot to the brilliant man, Carl Hart. He is a neuroscientist. He's written the book called Drug Use for Grown-Ups, which is actually a book that I'm reading right now. And it really is illuminating a lot of the injustices in the world about, drugs and just how there's sort of this culture of privilege, around whether it's like you're in a culture where you can afford a therapist and you're able to get, your molecules and your amphetamines or whatever from a psychiatrist versus somebody who may choose to get very similar drugs or molecules from the streets, and how those humans are treated, in society. Because, as you know, methamphetamine and Adderall are very, very similar molecularly. So it's been pretty cool to study the teachings of, Carl. There's a couple of cool, if you're into Joe Rogan, there's like a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast that I listen to. He's just my hero. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's my hero. This man is a truth teller about how the war on drugs has just literally destroyed America, destroyed families, destroyed lives, simply for people, choosing to exercise what we should have, which is freedom of liberty, which is the right to our consciousness, the right to consume and put anything in our body that isn't necessarily going to cause long-term harm, especially if it's done in smaller doses, and especially if you're not hurting other people. I mean, the Constitution itself does say that we are supposed to have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And for some of us, using plant medicine or molecules, again, intentionally and, with a lot of purpose and moderation, can actually have you have a little bit of a better time existing on planet Earth. So it's pretty cool to have a man just out and speaking about it and coming out of the closet to destigmatize that, a lot of us are on medicine every single day from a doctor, and we don't really discriminate against those people. So people who use drugs that come from community, I would like to argue should also be given the same grace. So I'm really enjoying, studying this man and going back to Harvard. I'm going back to Harvard again today to the School of World Religions, where I have been taking a workshop about magic. And it's been really cool to just sit with that and think about what is magic and what makes magic and how do we witness it? How do we feel how do we know we're in a magical scenario, right? So I've been really contemplating a lot and thinking a lot, partly because of the fever dreams, but also just partly because I've kind of taken time for me, so that's kind of new too. So yeah, it's kind of neat when you get forced to and you have no choice. But yeah, so when I say I've been going through it, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. It's just a lot of self-reflection, and then also the collective community that we're creating here is going to come together on Friday night, and we're going to have a regrouping session, and we're going to really just reconnect and hold space for one another and do a little energy share, maybe a little Reiki share, and just kind of talk about what we envision for the next couple of months, whether that's content, whether that's circling, what businesses we might want to reach out to share this these modalities that Matt is bringing to us, and Sarah and Anna, of course, will be here tomorrow at 1 p.m. for our midweek reset of slow flow yoga. We always look forward to that. And this Saturday, we have DJ Bruno Lima coming in at high noon from 12 to 3. And then the following week, we got DJ Trigga. Not saying I play favorites with my DJs, but I kind of love that man. So come and dance and raise the vibration with us. Raising the vibration has been my priority both in my own energy field and, hopefully in the community since, I've been kind of really focusing on the work. I feel like around 2017 was when I became a wellness coach. I took classes through the International Association of Wellness Professionals, which wasn't as much about the type of work we do here, but just the full mind, body, soul, spirit, looking at my morning hygiene, my nighttime hygiene, looking at my nutrition, more, stuff like that. So, I'm going on, it's been a good few years now that I've been just intentionally eating a certain way, intentionally trying to speak a certain way. We talk here a lot about spelling and how your words cast spells and how you have to be really careful about what you say about yourself, especially because, hate to tell you, babes, but what you think is true and what you think is going to manifest and will most likely happen to you. So keep it on the up and up, because you got to be careful what you wish for. So anyway, thank you for listening to my little speech. I never know what I'm going to say, but I appreciate all of your energy out there and all of your support, all of your donations. We are planning some big things for 2025, especially up in Maine. So hopefully, you can be part of that. Reach out to me if you want to help the mission, or go to pcsam.org and sign up for my newsletter. And of course, you can always donate there. So thanks to all the members for making this possible. And thank you, Matt. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really good.
Awesome.
What you were saying too is the first thing that came to my mind was the schools have, since the 80s or whatever, say no to drugs. But then they're really super quick, particularly with boys, because they can't sit, to put them on drugs.
I know. I find that so ironic.
And it's just so bizarre, because instead of letting kids be who they actually need to be and maybe changing how we teach so that we suit those needs.
Changing the environment.
Well, I was a phys ed teacher.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I did in the primary school was I taught spelling, math, geography, and I mixed it into movement. And so the classroom teachers actually loved, they were fighting over having me as their teacher, because in the classroom, because it was a K-3 school, they'd never had to teach spelling, because I worked a month ahead of them. So by the time these words came up for this week, they just gave the test, and the kids were all acing it, because they learned how to spell the words and the letters and everything through movement. And so we don't think enough outside the box like that in education. That's part of the reason why I left education, because I was doing all these things that were so progressive, and it was 50-50. People loved it, but the people who I worked with in the same field were just disliked me at a very high level, because I was really pushing the standards, and so it was a constant battle and fight, and eventually I was just the system's not for me anymore. That's why I left teaching.
I think that's a lot of what's coming up in 2025, right? Is reevaluating these systems and reevaluating the way that we've been doing things, and looking and saying, is this actually been serving us to our highest potential?
Yeah.
Because a lot of the ways in which we have been existing, I don't think have been. So I'm all about the change.
So, I'll just invite you to go get nice and comfortable. I want to have it quiet in here for a second, because I just want to see if the sound is getting picked up. Okay. So I'm playing a particular binaural beat right now, which is actually specific to what Sandy needs. So if anyone out there is struggling a little bit with healing, and the lungs are involved with that, this hertz right here that I'm playing is specific for the lung. And so you can breathe as you're settling into your space, and you can hear the sound. Good reminder to put headphones on for this. And just breathe. Tune into how you're breathing. Maybe to tune into the body as a whole in general, and just take notice of where energy is flowing smoothly, maybe where energy is a little bit stuck, maybe it's in the lungs. And you can just breathe the sound into that space, and think of the word healing. Just, I'm healing. You're not SAICK, you're just healing. just breathe that in. And just tuning into nice healthy breathing into the stomach, either through in and out through the nose or in through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. Language. We're going to take a look at language a little bit in the next several Tuesdays here. So anything that I talk about, I'm just going to bring up lightly and just let you, I'll talk about it in the beginning, then we'll just sink into sound and breathing. You also keep focusing on part of your attention, bringing energy to any parts of you that might be healing. There's a lot of different things that create stress for us as humans. And when we fall into the mode of stress, what is that doing? It's creating more of that reality. So what do I mean by that we're creating more of that reality? Well, we're kind of creating more of what we don't want. If we stay in that mode of stress, then we're going to create from that space. And then it's going to give us exactly what we're asking for, more stress. So what's one area that creates stress in our lives? One simple word. What do we love to do as humans? We love to exaggerate and make things so much bigger than what they actually are. Or maybe even the opposite, making them smaller than. And when we exaggerate, blocking and slowing down what we actually want. And the language of how we exaggerate either out loud to others or within our own mind, it's the words that maybe I'm just inviting in for you this week to consider how one may exaggerate when that comes up for you this week or today. Because exaggeration, it's limiting, it's negative, and then we might be projecting. We might be projecting onto ourselves or onto others with exaggeration. we were to put our stuff into perspective to help avoid this buildup of energy that's not really serving us, how can we change language? Well, part of the beauty is that you have a choice. So what if you catch yourself exaggerating on a situation with another human, an event, a thing, whatever that thing is? What if I was to say, just to pause and say something in terms of the situation is what I make it. I choose to whatever. The situation is what I make it. And I am going to choose to whatever with your words, your actions, and create like a higher vibration. I am choosing these words, these actions to change the vibration to a high vibration, not of a low vibration, to change my perspective and my belief of what's going on, because we fall into certain patterns. So just as we're going through this process today, just an invitation for considering like how you may exaggerate things, or you may have things presently alive for you in that realm. And maybe just to consider how one may choose to reconfigure your words. And one example that I'm giving you is that you can say to yourself is, the situation is what I make it. And I am going to choose to do what? What are you going to do? So just let that sink in. See where it takes you. as you're maybe considering what that is for you, it is quite amazing, like when I really sat with this, how I can make a story so big, so huge. Is it really serving? Even thinking about how we want to move in a new direction with things, and we can exaggerate that of like how hard this is so big, it's so much stuff, we're just with our words creating more stress and low vibration over something that we actually want. We're actually fighting what we want with our words. Two different energies. We have a desire, but then there's so much to do, or there's this and that, and I have to do this and this and this and this and this and this. Words and language is so many different categories. So I know I'm going to choose to start not creating the blockages of the flow of the energy, but create an open channel so that it can flow and come more easily. Also why movement is so beautiful. Like whatever works for you in movement, whether it's just getting up and wiggling or shaking, whether it's yoga, whether it's stretching, whether it's going for a run, a walk, it doesn't matter. But partially why movement is so beautiful, besides what we normally think of it as in terms of like physical health, But when we start feeling into things and words and language and how it might create a disruption in our flow of energy, and we can think about, I want to go meditate and go sit quietly, and then we have this perception that we're supposed to just sit like Buddha and not move. I don't believe that that's necessarily the most important thing. To me, it can be that can be a part of it, but another part of it is listening to what the body needs, and maybe it needs the movement, maybe it needs to shake to create a flow in that energy. If there's a disruption of energy, by shaking or moving, it's another way of helping to open up that flow. Sound can help open it up. Just tuning into your breathing and sitting quietly and tuning in sound into that blockage area to maybe help break it up. And then obviously language of how and what we're saying. Really become highly attuned to language, and that's why I'm going to start breaking it up a little bit, like with exaggeration and making things so big when they really are just nothing. I learned something very important last week, and I'll share it more at the end, but it's very simple and very basic and something that we're super familiar with, but something I also feel at the same time will help us with all this. But just breathe in this sound now and try and create like a flow of energy with it through the body. Toe to head. So I'm just going to invite you to sit with whatever came up with you. And just to feel into that lower vibration for a moment. And if you know me, and have been around me enough with this stuff, you might be familiar with I love to just have bringing in a smile and developing that relationship with that energy, with that particular energy. And so I'm just going to invite you to bring a smile to your lips. Just rise up the corner of your lips. And we're going to, this is what I learned. That's something that is probably pretty common, but it felt, we're going to take the smile and up-level it a little bit. So just become familiar with that energy for a moment in this quietness and stillness. Just feel it. Becoming familiar with this energy. Just feel it, open it up in your body, the energy of a smile. And you can bring this energy in with anything that's heavy, anything that's a struggle, any stories that we're creating and making them bigger and bigger. When we bring in this energy, it can help soothe and comfort the heaviness. And one of the things that I started realizing last week was not only the medicine that a smile can offer, but I was like, I needed to up-level this. And so I just want you to breathe into the sound that you're going to hear and see how this might shift and make the smile even more beautiful. And I don't want to say what the sound is, so just feel the energy. And now just sit with that for a moment and just take notice of how maybe that even up-leveled the smile and the energy through your system. Maybe even what that did with the flow, with whatever you were thinking about with words and stories. And this came to me just start laughing at stuff, because it's just, none of it fucking matters, man. It really doesn't. Like, the shit that goes on, the other people around you, like, everything, all this stuff, nothing fucking matters. It really doesn't. Just start freaking laugh. Sorry for the F-bombs, but it's just how I feel. It's just let it fucking go. Like, just fucking laugh at the shit and find your flow and smile and have a beautiful day. It's that simple. It really is. Yet we make it so difficult. And so for the next couple sessions, I'm just going to invite in different things of language that we use in statements or things. And so I hope that this piece on just considering the stories that we tell ourselves and how we just make things so big and so out of touch with what's real and what actually matters. And so if we just have that light reminder of maybe remembering that you have a choice, breathe into that, pause, ask yourself that question. Understand that you have a choice to make of what energy you want. And we can start shifting it with a smile. Maybe just find that a laughing thing to make you laugh, or watch something that makes you laugh, and just invite in that energy. And start this little battle that we all go through with energy and things in our lives. So I hope that was helpful and maybe a little eye-opening or a new consideration for you today. I'll let Sandy maybe respond to anything maybe that she felt throughout that today, or just if you feel like sharing something out to our public.
Sure. So, excuse me, for one thing, how many times did I get up and leave the room? 3 or 4?
3 or 4.
I can't believe like what just came out of my lungs, I have to say. So I do firmly believe that frequency and vibration is the medicine of the future, or it's always been the medicine, but medicine that we will start hopefully collectively as a society paying more attention to, because that was profound. Like, I was called to stand on my head at one point, and something happened to me this morning I didn't tell you. So I had to stop at our Hingham office, and you know, Matt, when you get off the highway and you take a left, so my light turns green and I see this car coming, and I'm like, I'm about to turn, but I'm like, they're not stopping. Like, I could just tell they weren't stopping. You know what I mean? And I was like, you know, supposed to be taking a left. Had I taken the left, I would have been, you know, T-boned by this woman that was clearly not paying attention at all. And it was just so funny because that you just said that, because like, I was like, at first I was like thinking like, what the F, you know? But as she went by, I honked the horn and I just hysterically started laughing. I just started hysterically laughing. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You can't make this up. I was like, especially because I keep talking about how I keep seeing car accidents, and like, if I hadn't been paying attention, I was gonna be a car accident just then. And instead of giving her the finger or screaming, slow down, I honked my horn and I was like laughing. Like, are you serious? Like, are you serious? And I was like laughing about how like preposterous it was that she was going like 40 miles an hour. I mean, you're not supposed to be going that fast there anyway. You know what I mean? She was just flying through that red light, like not a care in the world. And for some reason, it just made me start laughing. I think I was just hysterical because I was just like, wow, thank God I was paying attention. You know what I mean? Because that would not have been fun. But yeah, like choosing how you react is everything, right? Because again, and I always say, like, when things just get so overwhelming, I do say all I can do is laugh. Like, all I can do is laugh at the fact that I have no control at all. And you have to just believe that there's like other forces at play that are, you know, universal truths or energies that we really are. The universe doesn't really care about you, I think is what Matt was trying to say. The universe doesn't give you are nothing but stardust, babe. And so like, again, all these, I'm totally guilty of the exaggeration thing. I mean, when my husband was just in Costa Rica and, you know, I was talking to him at one point and the alarms were going off and then we lost connection, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, there's bombs, there's terrorists, oh my God. You know what I mean? My head goes straight to, is he safe? You know, when really it was just like another country, like, you know, and that's just the way that they like communicate with these alarms. You know what I mean? But I can be very guilty of exaggeration and making up, again, like worst case scenario stories sometimes. And I think part of that has always been my mentality is like prepare for the worst, but hope for the best. But maybe I just stop with the prepare for the worst shit and just try to always just hope for the best instead, right?
And work on that energy, the energy
Yeah.
of it. Because if we're hoping and we're hoping for the best, then we're leaving that doorway open for negativity.
Right. We're gonna just start assuming the best. Because we deserve it, right?
Not assume.
Or
Have it. It's real.
Yeah, we
It's
are
happening.
the best. We're the freaking best, Matt.
And that's what we're doing with the language, right?
I'm dead.
Put your freaking foot down and create what you want. Right?
Yeah, and just really quick, something that I wanted to show the congregation.
Yeah.
So I purchased from Percy. Not only do we bring in a lot of cool new products, a benefit of membership now is going to be that if you are a maker, if you have a product, you have a service, and you become a member, you can display your products here, and we can kind of inform, the people that come in to shop at Irie Bliss about what you make, and then people will purchase it directly from you from your website. So I got these really cool. Oh, of course, I'm not going to be able to remember how to turn it on. Oh, I know.
Yeah, I was
turn it.
looking at that.
Okay, so what you do is you push the
I
button
love
down,
it.
Matt, and then you push it in. Oh God, of course. Oh, come on, don't be stuck. Wait, this one actually might be the batteryless one. That's why this one doesn't have a battery.
Well, the first thing I thought of with those,
Yeah.
are they connected?
So they're hula hoops that Percy made. Here we go.
Oh, but
So
they're
watch this,
connected.
Matt. Watch that. Watch.
Okay.
So when you push it in, and then you're supposed to click it over. That's how it
Do they
turns.
come apart?
So it actually opens up into a big hula hoop.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So but I like it. Come on. Okay, Matt. Can you do me a favor? My fingers. So if you push this in and then squeeze it, it will click. There we go.
Oh.
Boink.
Because the first thing I thought of with these,
So
Yes.
Percy, thank you. So yeah, you can use these a couple different
I
ways.
started thinking of juggling right off
Well,
the
right.
bat.
So let me see. So, because I have two lit up now. So these are some cool toys that we have now for Soul Saturday. So you can bring your kiddos, and you can I can give them a little tutorial toy, and I do like spin fire. But yeah, these are really fun. So these do actually also, Matt, I'm not going to
Let me
open
see
it
if I
right now.
can juggle it. No, I don't want to.
They do open up into hula hoops though,
Yeah,
also.
I want to
So
see if I can juggle it.
okay, Matt's going to see if he can juggle them.
Stacey, I'm with the camera. But...
Okay, Matt, let's go.
Sandy. I have to
Okay.
get used to the weight.
So-
Yeah, this would be a new toy to
So
play
yeah,
with.
we
I
have
love
these new
it.
toys,
That's awesome.
and so thank you so much, Percy, for this offering. Woo! Oh God, don't break a bowl. Don't break a bowl, Matt. Okay, all right, we're gonna go.
I gotta learn the way.
We got crazy today,
I like
but yeah, come down and play with us. Love you. Thank you. PCSAM.org for more information about our funky, funny, wild little church experiment. Love you. Have